Lucy, hi, welcome to the Female Startup Club podcast.
Lovely to see you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you today about your incredible brand, LYMA. Do you want to give us first a little bit of an introduction just to who you are and what the brand is?
My name is Lucy Goff. I founded a company called LYMA, an industry in a supplement industry where over 90% of ingredients are not proven to work at all. LYMA is different. We're the only medical grade supplement in the industry. We're proven to work in peer-reviewed studies, and that is the difference between LYMA and the rest of the market.
So when you say medical grade studies, what does that actually mean, medical grade studies?
So it's interesting because if you were to take a pharmaceutical drug, so if you take the COVID vaccine, for example, you wouldn't trust Pfizer or AstraZeneca to say, oh, it's safe, it works, this is the dose and everything like that, because they are going to financially benefit from selling that product to you. So you wait for the peer-reviewed evidence to come in. So for the trials to have been deemed robust enough, to be safe enough, to be non-toxic, every single parameter that you would expect as a consumer, for them to be reviewed and published by doctors and scientists that have got no financial benefit to that drug being brought to market. And by the same token, the supplement industry, because it has no regulation in place, and you can put out a crushed up herb and sell it to a consumer. By the same token, you would surely expect, if you are taking a supplement to have a health benefit, that the ingredients have gone through the same rigorous process and have been proven at specific dosages to work and provide a health benefit, that particular brand of ingredient. And that is where LYMA differs from the rest of the market, in that every single one of our ingredients is patented and has got published peer-reviewed evidence to prove that it's not toxic, that it's stable in your body, that it's bioavailable, that it works, the length of time you should take it for. All these different parameters have been tested and not just validated by the company that made the ingredients. Of course, they're going to say it works, but actually by a team of non-biased doctors, which is the level of evidence and trust that a consumer should really be looking for.
And I imagine, the way that I feel about supplements is you take a supplement and you don't really know if it works or if it doesn't. And it could be that placebo effect, or it could actually be helping, but you don't really see the difference necessarily. So there's a lot of education and trust that needs to be instilled in a consumer. So having that piece of the puzzle as well also shows someone, oh yes, like I can trust this brand, versus like getting a vitamin D tablet off the shelf.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about supplements. And the irony is that, if you eat a really good balanced diet, a healthy balanced diet, you can get your A to Z of vitamins from your diet, and your best place to do that. If you were to eat an apple, you would get far more nutrients and benefits from that process of eating an apple or eating an orange or eating a piece of fish than actually taking the nutrients in a supplement form. So, there are a few vitamins and minerals that you can't get in effective doses through food. And that's like vitamin K2, vitamin D3. So there are certain nutrients that you do need to supplement with. However, the true premise of the supplement is to supplement with nutrients that you cannot get in effective doses through food. And that's why in LYMA, we only formulate with ingredients that you can't find in a healthy, balanced diet, which is the true premise of a supplement.
That is so interesting. What was getting you interested in supplements in the first place, and what was taking you down this pathway of starting this business?
Well, I never even thought starting a business or running a business would ever be in my life path. After I had my daughter 9 years ago, I was really ill after I had her, and I actually caught septicemia. I was in hospital for weeks while they battled to save my life. Fortunately, they did, but it came at a cost. I left hospital and I just couldn't function. I couldn't function as a person, let alone anybody that was now responsible for a baby. And I was going to all these, these top Harley Street physicians, and I was saying, I just feel wretched. I can't even lift. I don't even feel confident enough to lift my baby. What can you do for me? And they were, they looked at all my notes, and, they took bloods, and they were saying, well, there's nothing wrong with you. The infection's gone. And that was their benchmark for me being able to function. On paper, I looked healthy. I can tell you, in reality, I could not function. And it was really when my mum took me to one of those beautiful spa in Geneva to rest for a few days. And it was there that the spa didn't help me. I mean, it was very nice to, sit by the lake with a blanket over me. But, it was there that I had one of those life-changing moments. And that was bumping into one of the world's leading professors in the field of longevity and preventative disease, a guy called Dr. Paul Clayton, who happened to be there on a conference. I was chatting to him about my story, and he said, well, I've got no time for the supplement market at all. Nothing really works. There's no legislation in place that means it has to work. It's full of factory floor scrape. I mean, he was just going on and on. And I was just thinking about my huge cupboard of supplements at home that was perhaps not doing what it needed to. And he explained there was a hidden category of nutrition, a hidden category of supplementation that actually was proven to work, but it was not available to consumers because it didn't fit in with the price structure, with the commercial structure of the supplement market. I don't know whether he just wanted to get rid of me or took pity on me, but he said, look, I'll send you some ingredients through the post, and I know that you will get better. And I came back, and every day I was waiting for these supplements to arrive, and they didn't. And after a couple of weeks, they arrived. I took them, and literally 3 or 4 weeks later, I was back at work. I just felt myself again. And that was really the light bulb moment where I realized that if I was suffering like this, there are millions of other people that would be suffering too, whereby the medical world wasn't able to help them because the pharmaceutical model is very much geared towards taking away a symptom once you get ill. It doesn't deal with preventative health at all. And it doesn't deal with kind of, tonics that help you get better, help you feel better. And that was the moment where I asked Paul Clayton if he would consider coming in with me, and we launched this medical grade supplement together. And after a lot of persuasion, he said yes. He was explaining it would be a very, very difficult road to bring this supplement to market, and he was totally right. But we did it, and 4 years later, we've got a successful global business.
So what year are we talking about is that 2017? Because I think you launched in 2018, right?
We launched in 2018, that started in February of 2018, but this was a conversation that I had with him a few years before. I mean, it took a year just to find a factory that would deal with this set of ingredients. That in itself was a huge challenge. There are thousands of supplement factories, and that they're all very good. However, you can only work with the ingredients that they already work with, which are the cheap, organic, and generic ingredients. They bulk buy in from mainly China. They're not proven to do anything, but that's where the markup is. So, for instance, organic turmeric in a factory is like £1 a kilo. The medical grade turmeric that we use in LYMA, which is hydrocurc, is nearly £300 a kilo. So you see that it doesn't fit in with the commercial structure of the supplement market. And it's not really beneficial for supplement factories to deal with this set of ingredients, because you can't make the same markup that you can from using, cheap generic ingredients. But fundamentally, the irony is that turmeric is actually placebo. The turmeric market's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, but actually organic turmeric as a placebo, you'll never get an active level into your plasma to have an anti-inflammatory effect because your body can't absorb it. You get these other water-soluble turmerics, the patented water-soluble turmerics, and what they fail to do, what consumers don't realize about those is that the majority of the ingredient is actually made up of the carrier system that makes it water-soluble. So it leaves negligible amounts for the actual curcuminoids. So there's only one turmeric extract in the market that actually is going to be effective, and that's the one that we use in LYMA, because only 10% of the ingredient is accounted for by the carrier system, and therefore you leave 90% of the ingredients to feature the curcuminoids, which is what's going to have an anti-inflammatory effect. There's huge, there's loads of nuances in the industry that the consumer doesn't know, because fundamentally it's a very political space. And it's crazy that the supplement market does not have robust legislation to really protect the consumer and to ensure that the consumer has a beneficial effect by taking them.
Bloody hell. It's tough. It's tough out there with the supplement market. My goodness. And it's so, as you're explaining these things, these are words I've never heard of. I obviously didn't know this. It's really, it's crazy. I'm interested to know, how did you actually get Dr. Paul Clayton to say yes and be excited about building a supplement brand that was so hard to do?
He's an academic, and he's got a brilliant mind. He's a genius, but he's very much not anybody who is commercially driven. So the enticement of launching a brand just did not light his fire. But it was really the excitement of what we were doing, I guess, that we would be the first brand in the world to actually move the supplement industry on. And I spent months trying to convince him that you're in this fight, against the supplement market. You can only start to change it if you're involved in something that actually is going to change the category. And by launching LYMA, that's exactly what we've done.
Wow, goodness. It sounds like this kind of business and this kind of business model obviously requires a lot of upfront capital, a lot of working capital, even just to get to the point of, R&D and then through to minimum orders and production, packaging, etc. It's a high price point. It's a very luxury brand. I imagine all touch points are extremely beautiful and, nice to look at, nice to touch. What's the money piece of the story, and how were you approaching funding in the beginning, especially as someone who, you said you had no idea about launching a business, you never had that in your kind of vision, to being like, all right, well, what do we do now? How do we get this brand to life?
So this was another big challenge. I have to be honest. It wasn't a small amount of money that we needed to launch LYMA. I went out to a load of investment companies, and it was very quickly, a unanimous no from every one of them. They did not have any confidence that the consumer would want to spend £150 a month as opposed to, say, like £20 a month on a supplement that worked. It's very difficult when you're trying to start a business not to make spontaneous decisions when it comes to funding. Although every business, needs money to get going, where you take that money from in the first instance is really important, because it can have huge implications later down the line. I was adamant that we wouldn't take money from crowdfunding. You've always got that wealthy relation that you're really tempted to call that maybe you haven't spoken to for a long time. And, lots of people do choose friends and family to raise the initial funds. But, I'm very aware that comes with a really big moral obligation, which can then be really challenging if things don't go well. Investing it at an emotional level might not be the right thing moving forward. So myself and my husband, we took the huge risk, and, it was not responsible of us at all, but we put everything on the line. We remortgaged everything, and we funded the business ourselves. And that could have been the daftest thing we ever did, but it paid off.
Are you able to share how much? How much did you have to put in?
I can't share, but it wasn't a small amount of money. It really wasn't. But, I think because it was everything that we had that was on the line, we did our homework. Everybody starts with the intention that you're going to succeed. It will succeed. But, I think you've got to just really be honest about your chances of success. Always only answer the difficult questions. Can you answer the difficult questions? Forget every single positive associated with that business and only focus on the negatives, which is what we did.
What's an example of that? Like, what's a difficult question?
Well, why would somebody spend £150 a month on a supplement that was going to work? They never have done before. It's a totally new proposition. How are you going to change a global market that has existed at a certain price point for decades, with something that's different? Knowing what customer we were going to get, our route to market, how we were going to become profitable, how we were going to secure our first 1,000 customers. These all had to be watertight. And we felt that they were watertight. And that's why we did it. I always say I was always fascinated by what Jo Malone did, a commodity that there was a candle that everybody got from the supermarket. She repackaged it and charged a different price point, made it into a luxury lifestyle statement for the home. And by the same token, I felt that there was a huge opportunity in the world of supplements to do that. A great idea is not good enough. If you can't sell it, it's pointless. And then, after we launched and we sold out within 2 weeks. So, we knew that, we were onto a winner. The irony was all those investment companies that turned me down in the first place then came back and went, oh, see, you've launched now, can we invest in it? And it was like, no, because if you've doubted me once, something will go wrong down the line and you will doubt me again. So actually, when we got our first round of investment from a VCT, it was a VCT that we had never spoken to in the past. So we're all about a fresh page.
When you say VCT, what is that?
Venture Capital Trust.
Trust. Got it. Okay. Right. New for me. Haven't heard that one. I'd love to circle back to, you were just saying a moment ago that you needed to get your marketing plan to get your first 1,000 customers. Obviously, then you sell out within 2 weeks. And I think I read you had a wait list of about 5,000 people even before launching. I'd love to kind of deep dive into what you were doing to build that wait list. What was the blueprint of getting to your first 1,000 customers?
So getting to the first 1,000 customers, my background was PR. So that was my career. I was a journalist first, then I spent a good few years in PR. So I made it all very PR focused before we launched. We got one celebrity who we knew to post something on their social channels. And when you look at LYMA in the hammered copper vessel, you don't instantly know what it was. And we had like a solid copper members card. It all looked very kind of innocuous. It's amazing once one person posts something and it looks a bit different, that you start to get interest from other people. And, people didn't really know what LYMA was. We had one celebrity that contacted us asking if they could join our concierge. Nobody really knew what it was. So, and we kept it quite vague. So in the first instance, it was really kind of, we created that FOMO whereby people wanted to know what we were launching. And we got two really, really big PR hits. And it kind of took off from there. And from the first 2 big PR hits, we got our first 1,000 customers.
Wow. That's so crazy because PR can go kind of 2 ways. It can either totally hit and totally work, or just, I've heard so many times on the show, it does nothing. So I guess there must be a secret formula there.
Well, there is a formula, and it was only because I was in PR that I knew what the formula was. You've got to I think because I was a journalist before I went into PR, I knew what the newspaper would want. I always gave them the full story. So it needs to have every single piece of the pie. It's got to have something new. It had celebrity. It had case studies. It kind of had every single element. If you just have like product PR, whereby it's just a picture on a page of a product, then nobody really knows much about it when it's not a commodity. So obviously, if it's something like a lipstick or a bag or a jacket, then all you really need to do is see the picture of that commodity. When something's not a commodity, so with something like LYMA, where you're buying into a health benefit that you can't see on the page, you can't see what 8 hours sleep looks like on the page. You can't see what increased focus looks like on the page. You can't see increased immunity. All these things have to be explained through trusted case studies, through a trusted media outlet. So it's not just the case of just getting the product on a page. It's got to tell the whole story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. Now that I think about when you sum it up like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense to do it that way. That is correct. So in that first year, you have the two, first hits of PR, goes really well. It gets the ball rolling. What happens next? What does that next year in business look like from, to keep the momentum going?
Well, I guess we launched exclusively on our website, so at lyma.life. And the next stage after we initially launched, we had all these people contact us from all over the world. We were only launching in the UK to start off with. So the next piece in the puzzle was to get international shipping sorted. So we quickly scaled our business in a matter of weeks to launch global shipping from our website. And that takes you to a global audience. The next stage was to agree on what retailers we were going to work with. We were only ever going to work with a few global halo retailers because we launched primarily as a D2C business, and that business model still stands today. So we were with a few halo retailers globally, such as Net-a-Porter, Harrods, Harvey Nichols. But, the reality is that we don't make a huge markup on our supplement, and the margins don't really work for us wholesale. So we knew that the halo accounts that we got had to really be the ultimate ones. And that's why we went with Net-a-Porter for our first global partner. And that really takes you to a different audience. And, it's quite a big step going into retail because, you very much protected your brand on your website. It's like having a baby, you just want to spend time with that baby for the first few weeks, first few months. And then you've kind of got to cast the net open and they go to school. And by the same token, you have to kind of go to retailers and work with retailers and trust them with your product. So we went with Net-a-Porter first, and then we went in the UK with Harvey Nichols, and in the US we went with Bergdorf Goodman and Saks. And we then got our proper first round of funding from Pembroke VCT in the December. So from the launching in the February to the December, we kind of went on a huge lifetime journey that actually was only a few months from launching to getting our funding in. And then you've got a whole new set of challenges, and that you got to recruit, move from a kitchen table, which is the kitchen table that I'm on now, into an office and start scaling up. And with that comes a different set of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And since then, you've obviously started to launch a number of different products, including your kind of most recent product, the LYMA laser, the high price point laser. I'd love to get into, again, the marketing of that, how you kind of, approached something that required FDA approvals and medical grade technology and all these other challenges that you must have been facing.
Yeah, I think, the LYMA supplement disrupted the supplement sector with a category of supplementation that worked. And by the same token, we knew that our next product had to be another category disrupting moment. And, we work with over 20 scientists now globally who are all coming back with the latest and greatest scientific developments in different fields. And everything was really exciting, but nothing felt like really spine tinglingly incredible until Dr.
I
Paul
love that
Clayton,
spine
the
tingly.
incredible. You can tell that, English wasn't one of my strong points at school.
No, I love it.
Dr. Paul Clayton was in Germany and he was looking at a 62-year-old man's knees that had been treated with low-level laser therapy to rebuild cartilage in one of his knees. And there was this huge team of doctors that were looking at all the different parameters, all the different benefits. And he just had like a real light bulb moment in that he thought, well, forget what's going on inside the knee. The skin on the knee that had been treated looked about 20 years younger than the skin on his other knee. And he then realized that the at-home cosmetic light device industry was heavily based around LED. And LED only came after low-level laser therapy. It was only developed because low-level laser therapy was not allowed to be used at home because obviously laser is a potentially dangerous light source. You can't start bringing a powerful laser into the home. It was not legal, which is why the LED market boomed, because it was a cheap technology and it was safe to use at home. And he realized that actually, if we could engineer this technology into an equally powerful laser that was being used in the hospital, but made it safe to use at home, then this technology is 100 times more powerful than LED. It would totally change the face of the at-home cosmetic market. So the next challenge was making it, engineering this device into a little portable laser that you could use at home, which took some time. And then getting FDA approval took just as long a time, because just the irony is actually the FDA for supplements, you can be FDA approved for your supplement by literally just submitting the supplement label to the FDA. And if they don't get back to you in 21 days, it means it's FDA approved. So there's very little you need to do to get a supplement approved by the FDA. However, for at-home cosmetic devices, it is totally another game. They are so hot to trot on safety, on, it's like the tests that you need to do for the FDA are on another level to any test that you need to do for rest of the world. So one of the tests that it's all around safety. And obviously working with a 500 milliwatt near infrared laser, where the previous legal limit for at-home lasers was between 5 and 20 milliwatts, is something.
Oh, wow.
No, this is like a whole new category. And that's why the LYMA laser is the first FDA cleared clinic grade laser to be approved for use at home. So it really is a whole new category. One of the tests we had to do was, if you put the LYMA laser in a microwave, at what temperature did the battery blow up? You have to cover you have to know at what point does it not work if you run it over. I'm telling you, the LYMA laser will not work if you run it over. You could kill yourself if you run yourself. If you get run over, it's not been designed to run over anything. But no, it was a very, very difficult process. It was just the world's most incredible day when we got the approval through, because it is such a revolutionary piece of technology. It is the only laser that you can use at home that does not damage any cell in the process of renewal. It works off a totally different premise to every other technology that's out there. And that's why it's the first laser that can be used on all skin types and tones, which is a first for inclusive beauty.
Goodness, it sounds amazing. Wow. Goodness me. I'm interested to know about the marketing strategy for this, and if you followed the same kind of approach, kind of leading with PR, or if you went down the route of, more specific celebrities or influencer marketing or paid advertising, or what the kind of approach was to get the word outside of your existing customer base.
I think, if you look at marketing historically, it was relatively simple. You advertise, people see it, and then they buy it. But now marketing is much more complicated. It's really awareness that's the key to have success long term. If nobody knows about your brand, they won't know about your products. Unfortunately, as good as all the digital channels are to access customers, it's a really, really crowded space, because it all goes through the same social channels who are targeting the same audience. So you're kind of like a tiny, tiny dot in a massive world of big money chasing the same customer. And so this is why you need to do something different. When we launched LYMA with the supplement, we didn't have a database. We were unknown, and we got our first 1,000 customers through PR. PR is still a very important piece in LYMA's marketing mix today. But, when we launched a laser, we obviously had a database of supplement customers who were spending £1,800 a year on the supplement. So we had a robust database of customers who would be interested in the laser. But what kind of really works for us is a blend of different activity that targets customers on the different channels. So it's not one thing that works on its own. It's like a really complex collection of balanced activities where you understand the customer's needs and the purchasing processes. And for that, you need a complex method of communication with the different customers. So it's really by kind of only understanding what doesn't work and making those mistakes will help you come up with what works, ultimately.
Do you have an example of what didn't work for you, or something that you tried that was a fail?
Yeah, so it's what I go back to before, seeing the beautiful copper vessel on its own with the beautiful copper pill. People assume that you're just paying all the money for the beautiful copper vessel, when in reality, you're actually paying for the ingredients that go inside the pill. You get a lot of bang for your buck with copper. It's not gold. It's copper, but it looks beautiful, but you're seriously not paying for the copper vessel. You're paying for the ingredients that go inside the capsule. If you were to buy the ingredients in LYMA separately from a reputable retailer, you'd pay a hell of a lot more than you would by buying LYMA. And by the same token, when you look at the LYMA laser, it just looks like a black torch. You can't see the hugely powerful feat of engineering that's gone inside that to bring a clinic grade laser into the home. So it's really about telling a story for us. It's about telling case studies. It's about engaging with audiences whereby they have got an issue that you can resolve. So it could be people that can't sleep. So you're targeting people that can't sleep, a known audience of people that can't sleep, with a solution that will give you 8 hours sleep. Targeting stressed people with a proven solution that will bring down your cortisol levels. So it's about telling multiple different stories to an audience that it would resonate. It's not about just one element of that. You've really got to give the full 360 tale. You've got to have the beginning, the middle, and the end, because that's what's going to resonate with people.
I saw when I was looking through your Instagram, you've partnered with people like Hailey Bieber and Chiara Ferragni, which is obviously, huge celebrities. When you, for example, work with someone like Chiara Ferragni who's using your product in a video, are you approaching them to build a paid partnership, or are you sending it as a gift, or have they discovered it through another means, through your marketing?
We're not officially working with any of these people. These are just people that have got a laser. Hailey Bieber was introduced to the laser through a facial with Joanna Check. Joanna Check was using the laser. So LYMA is a very, very organic brand. It creates authentic conversations that spread. It's not, we don't pay these people to work with us. That's not the strategy that we have.
Wow, that is just amazing. And so for someone like Kiara, do you know how she came across the product?
Just through a friend of hers.
Gosh, isn't that the dream?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
My goodness. Yeah, and I guess that speaks for itself.
It does. If you see somebody, I know I've done it. I do it myself. If you see somebody and they look great, you go, oh my god, you're looking amazing. Have you had any work done? And if somebody says no, but I've just been using the LYMA laser, and you can actually see a visible difference, then friends want to help friends. And likewise, if you can't sleep and your friend can't sleep, or your friend is suffering from the menopause, or any form of suffering, and you find something that helps, you want to share it with your friend. You want her to feel great too. So it really does go organically viral within communities.
What advice can you leave us for founders who are kind of wanting to launch products in that high ticket space?
Well, the irony is that, LYMA is more expensive than other brands, but it actually offers great value. If you went to the doctor and you couldn't sleep and you asked for a sleeping tablet and they said, well, I can't give you a sleeping tablet, but I can give you this patch, and you put it on your skin and it will give you 8 hours sleep every night, and it costs £5 a day to rent that patch. You would rent that patch for £5 a day, and LYMA costs £5 a day. It was always something that I was very committed to, that I wanted LYMA to be affordable for the majority of people. And, the majority of people in the UK, in the US, they've got £5 a day that they might spend on a coffee, on buying lunch that they could make at home. It was, don't buy that expensive bottle of wine in a restaurant. Don't buy that jumper that you don't really need. Sleep, stress, focus, performance, energy, these are all fundamentals to your life. It's something that you deserve. You deserve to invest in yourself. And by the same token, the laser, yes, it is £2,000. However, how many people get Botox? Spend £500 every 3 months on Botox? If you had to make a choice, would you prefer to invest your money in something that you could use every day at home, or spend £500 every 3 months on Botox? If you can, do both. But there are always ways that you can trade off as to whether you can make the investment to purchase the two products that we have in LYMA.
Absolutely. And so I guess for anyone listening who is in that space of higher ticket, it's around really showing the value and showing why someone would purchase that over potentially something else. The storytelling.
Yeah. And also, as I say, it's not that we're making a huge markup. Our products don't work on a traditional wholesale model. These are really expensive products for us to produce. And, even as products have all gone up over the past few years, 20%, whatever, I can assure you what we've done is try and make sure that our products do not go up in value at all. And we've managed to retain the price that we did when we launched 4 years ago. And that's literally by having, more people that are buying the product. So we've managed to negotiate better terms with our suppliers. So, that's kind of our commitment, I guess, to our customers.
That's amazing. Wow. Really impressive. We end every episode with a series of 6 quick questions, some of which we might have covered, but some of which we might not have. So I just ask them again, all the same. So question number 1 is, what's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing every single day?
To help the millions of people who don't feel good or don't feel as though they look their best, to help people look and feel their best.
Gosh, it's amazing.
You can help.
Absolutely. Question number 2 is, what has been your favorite marketing moment so far?
I guess winning the Fast Company's Most Innovative Award for the LYMA laser. That was complete spine-tingling moment.
That was a good one. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Question number 3, what is your go-to business resource if you were to pick a book or a podcast or a newsletter?
I guess I probably wouldn't pick any of those, and I'd have to say the team at LYMA. Everyone has got incredible insight, has come from different industries, all different industries. You know, it's not necessarily from health or beauty. I think applying those learnings to a different industry is where you get the magic.
I love that. Question number 4 is, how do you win the day? What are your AM or PM rituals and habits that keep you feeling happy and successful and motivated?
LYMA. The LYMA supplement, I tell you, I told you before, I just had a baby a few weeks ago. And when you're pregnant, you can't take LYMA because you can't take anything, you know, nothing's been really tested on pregnant women. So I had to stop taking LYMA for 9 months. And I got to, when I stopped taking it, 2 weeks in, after stopping taking it, I was thinking, actually, I feel pretty good. Maybe, you know, I don't know what it was doing. You know, I was thinking, maybe I don't need it anymore. Anyway, like 4 weeks later, I couldn't sleep. You know, everything went back to what I was before I started taking LYMA. So I really appreciated having a baby and starting taking LYMA again. And it genuinely gets me through the day.
Can't wait to try it. Question number 5 is, what's been your worst money mistake in the business?
Oh God, this is something that I genuinely did. When we moved into our new head office last September, I bought the world's most ridiculously priced chair for just as you walked in, and it really was the world's biggest waste of money. And when it arrived, I realized it was a doll's chair that I bought. It arrived in this little box. And it was, I just looked at the picture. I hadn't looked at the measurements, and it was actually a doll's chair that I bought. So I sent it back.
How much was it?
It was £6,000. Yeah, I have to say that was
so funny. Oh my God. At least you're able to return it. My goodness.
I know. Well, I think I think in the end I just annoyed the guy so much that he took it back, because he just started I don't want to hear from this woman again ever.
Oh my gosh. I feel like this question, that answer blends with my final question, which is, but maybe you have some more, is, what's just a crazy story that you can share, good, bad, or otherwise, in your entrepreneurial journey so far?
Oh, well, I think I've really exposed myself with the last question. So I'll just say something good for this. I guess waking up and seeing Kim Kardashian using the laser.
Oh, great one. When did that happen?
A few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. Holy moly. That is crazy. I watched an interview with her recently where she was saying, you know, she doesn't get fillers and she doesn't have any work done. She was saying, you know, I invest in good quality products. She's like, I spend a lot on my skincare, but I don't have, like, I don't know what the term is, but like work done on my face. I just invest in the best. Interesting.
So, yeah, I think I will never buy another chair ever again.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Lucy, for coming on the show and telling us all about LYMA. It sounds absolutely amazing. Such a crazy product for health and wellness and sleep. My goodness. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Really enjoyed it.